All right. Welcome back. If you're a veteran and you're struggling or feel like you are leading a path towards the darkness, stop and think about those who are around you. Think about how they truly value you, how they will miss you. You are not alone. You need to talk to someone. Someone will listen to you. If you feel like you'll be a burden to someone, or you don't feel like you should put that weight on your inner circle, call the hotline at 988 and take option 1. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, thanks for joining us. Please subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast apps. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at _MisFitNation. It's _MisFitNation. This will keep you up to date with our latest news, episodes, and of course, our great guests. Speaking of which, our next guest is the founder and co-owner of Zenergy Fitness and Performance. She's a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, NASM, specializing in corrective exercises. With over 15 years of experience in the fitness industry, coupled with a doctorate, she occupies a unique niche in helping not only athletes and veterans, but a population increasingly plagued by chronic pain and complicated medical histories. She adheres to a whole body approach in leading people on their journey to phenomenal health, quality of life, and above all, independence. So without further ado, let's welcome Pinky Uttayaya-Andrews to the Misfit Nation. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's awesome to have you here. And of course, my co-host tonight, the one and only Misfit Bird.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, Bird and Pinky. I know I just said a whole blurb about you there. If you wish to tell us a little bit more about yourself from as far back as you want to go to how we got to where we are now.
Sure. So my journey kind of is all over the place, but I actually started off, I went to school for veterinary medicine, and it, so I've always been into fitness and, doing sports and everything. So, but I always wanted to be a doctor because I come from a family of doctors. So, when I came across my first animal, I was like, oh man, that's cool. I want to be a veterinarian. So went to that, and it was, it wasn't until my last year, my clinical year, where I actually came across physical therapy, so physical rehab for animals, and I fell in love. So when I graduated from vet school, I made a very, very expensive decision to not pursue my career as a veterinarian. Gotta love those student loans. But it honestly was a great decision though, because I realized with my husband, he's a combat veteran. He was in the Marine Corps, and seeing the struggles he went through with, his physical, he's had 2 ACL surgeries, and then coming back from deployment with the PTSD, it made me, I mean, as a spouse, when you go through that, it's hard. I mean, it's hard for veterans to go through it to begin with. And then as a spouse, you don't even know what to do. Right. And so it was seeing that, trying to help him, kind of actually led me more down the route of rehab, and just, trying to make sure that he's not crippled, while he's young. So trying to help him to rehab through his knee surgeries, and then helping him through his PTSD. And, as most people know, the VA is helpful for some people, but not helpful for a lot of people.
Amen.
Say that again.
Oh, it's an understatement. I mean, I've encountered people who they've honestly had like nothing but a fantastic experience with the VA, but more times, like 9 out of 10, I find most people like they hate the VA, really. So, and my friend, oh man, my friend put it the right way. She's like, the reason why most veterans don't want to go through it is because it elicits their PTSD. I'm like, yeah, because I was actually helping him out with it, and it was giving me anxiety and I was like, dude, I don't have PTSD, but what the hell? So, while he was in the Marine Corps, it was, I appreciate him, serving country and stuff, but I had more appreciation outside, like after he left. But just seeing his struggles and then seeing some of the struggles our friends go through just kind of made me more want to help out with veterans, especially. So what was it? It was February of 2020. I actually made the decision to step away from the veterinary field and really dive into my business a lot more. And so now I'm 4 years into my business, and I'm going, maybe in a couple of years here, I'm going to start to go for physical therapy school. So very excited about that.
It's a lot of schooling and a long journey. And of course, thank you to Adai for his service in the Marine Corps. I know he learned a lot about a lot of crazy things in the Marine Corps, like how to hurt himself real bad for no reason and things like that.
That is like the one thing about the Marines, man.
They're real good at
it. There's a running joke in our house where I'm like, he's the breaker, I'm the fixer.
Man, he's lucky.
He's lucky he has you there, then.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny because we wrestle a lot, because it's just one of those things. I was like, walk by, I'll punch him, he'll punch me. It's like when we just end up wrestling.
And then you wonder why he has so much pain.
Yes, it's self-inflicted.
Right. So here, let me ask you this, Coach Pete. So are there any similarities or differences, when it comes to humans and animals? I know you mentioned you started off veterinarian. So how does that help you with what you're doing now?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of similarities. I mean, the things that we learned as far as in the or on the veterinary side really ties into the medical side, because the organs work the same way. The heart pumps out blood, the liver works the same way, kidneys work the same way. So all the organs work the same way. Muscles are muscles, tendons are tendons, ligaments are ligaments across the board. So that in that aspect is very similar. But I was actually able to take my knowledge from the veterinary field and really apply it to what I do now, because my focus on the veterinary side was actually with rehab. And, my patients couldn't talk to me. So I really had to figure out what was going on. So not being able to have, my patient verbalize something to me, I really had to use all my other senses. So now I can actually use my eyes a lot more and look at people. I'm like, you know what? They're having this issue. They're having that issue. So even before they say anything to me, I can already see what ailments they're dealing with. I mean, it's gotten to a point where even my husband's like, damn it, I can't unsee anything now.
And I'm sure that helps a lot with because I know a lot of veterans don't want to say exactly what's going on with them. So when they come into you and you get to just look at them and see even their posture, how they're sitting. You can see, oh, it might be your hip is displaced or this or that, or you're just not doing things right because, like you said, an animal doesn't tell you anything except maybe they want to eat or go outside. They might give you some kind of cue there, but when they're hurting, they don't tell you anything.
Right, exactly. And, the other thing is, too, is especially with veterans, I mean, like you said, they don't really tell you what's going on. They try to hold it all in. I can handle it myself. Ego kicks in, basically. And so I can relate to that because actually it was during vet school, I went down a really, really dark hole myself. And so it was hard, it was hard to come out of, just because of the fact that part of you is screaming for help, but it's all inside, and it's hard when you want that help, but there's no one there. And even though I had the support of my family, and honestly, my family didn't know. My husband, he knew what I was going through, but still it was hard, right? So especially with veterans having, that high suicide rate, for me, I wanted to make sure that I can be there because I can see the signs. The signs are there. You just have to kind of look for it. But being able to, if I can help one veteran, to get them out of that hole, yeah, I'll do it.
That's a great mantra there, and that's something we like to promote here on the Misfit Nation. You reach one, teach one in your profession, help one, fix one. So it really helps. As long as you're getting that one person helped, they'll spread the word and bring more back to you. And I know when you linked in with Ramon last year, the Misfit was probably over a year and a half ago down at a low point, and he was really in the struggle. And I see night and day change from him just in the time he's been with you. So I appreciate everything you've done for him.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I can attest to that for sure. I mean, all the things I learned, and one thing that I really like about you, Coach B, is that you don't teach so that we can keep coming to you for the rest of our lives. You teach us so that we can, go out and have some knowledge to be able to get better and improve further. I think that's what that differentiates you from any other professional I've seen in this. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome. I mean, and it is, I mean, just like Rich said, night and day difference with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time we met, I mean, you're at a low point, and that was when I reached out, because I'm like, man, I know I can help him. Just gonna go for it. Let me just reach out and see. And I'm glad it worked out, because to see where you were and then where you are now, it's great.
Yeah. I know this is, this is our chat, and I kind of want to go into just a little bit about that story, give them a little backdrop on that. I had put out there a message in a veterans group saying, hey, I can't walk today. I woke up today. Yesterday I was fine. I woke up today and I just couldn't walk, and I had to climb to my phone. Had to put my pants on the floor, and I put in the group, this is what I'm dealing with my lower back. And I was all out of options, and you reached out and said, hey, I see what everybody is telling you out in public on your feed, but I just had to reach out to you, and I think I can help. And me have already tried so many different things. I said, well, I guess this won't hurt to try one more. And sure enough, after we had our first consult, you honestly was telling me things that my professional doctors weren't telling me, things that, just, it made sense, hindsight now. But then I was just like, I'm like, oh man, yeah, right. Okay, whatever. But as time went, I mean, it was like the first month of us doing stretches and form and things, like I saw some improvement. And I would like to ask though, what made you have a niche there? What brought that about? Like, how did you? I mean, what sharpened you in that area to be able to just say, hey, I can fix you, and you do. I mean, I've seen your reviews, and I mean, I'm telling you, I agree with every last one of them, and it brings you to tears every time. So, what sets you apart? Like how do you do it?
I really kind of take the medical side, and my goal was to take the medical side and the fitness industry and put them together, because what I see a lot is that the two kind of are separate, where, and I have, like I said, I come from a family of doctors. I have a lot of friends who are doctors, but from what I've seen is that doctors are so inundated with their schedules and seeing appointments that they don't really have time to spend talking to the patient. And so it's more of, hey, let me write you a script and be on your way. I'll see you in 6 months. And so for me, anytime I meet someone or I do a consult, generally I let them know I have a medical background, but also, and I ask more questions. I'm like, what do you know about what you're dealing with, whether it's a back issue, knee issue, or even just stomach issues or something like that. But I take what I learned in vet school and apply it here, because there are a lot of similarities and a lot of differences too. But I want to make sure that each person I come across, that they know what they're going through, and they understand how their body's reacting, why their body's reacting. So where doctors don't have the time, or especially their doctors don't have the time to talk to them and explain everything, I take the time to try to explain that, so that now they're more informed, where they can go to their medical team and ask the right questions and be able to have those conversations with their doctors that they wouldn't have been able to have before. So it's kind of grown from there. And so that's why a lot of people that come to me are usually the ones that have gone through every other modality. They've gone through physical therapy, acupuncture, chiropractic, they've gone to like multiple specialists and they haven't gotten any results. And then usually when I get to them, it's a big turnaround, because unfortunately too many times is the symptoms are, people are just alleviating the symptom, but they're not getting to the root cause of the problem.
Definitely. And I think me and Ramon talked about that when he was on live, about how the VA likes to just treat symptoms by a checklist. So if you go in there and say, I'm presenting this, they just like looking in their textbook and saying, okay, you're in line 3, so this is the drug I'm giving you today. And it doesn't work for everyone. And I like the way you're doing it right there.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing, because especially with the veterans I work with, a lot of them do go to the VA. And so too many times they're like, well, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, the doctor's not listening to me. And I mean, Ramon, I heard when you were on, how it was, you're telling the doctor what was going on, but they just weren't listening. And so I try to get to a point where, okay, maybe ask them this way and go from there. But essentially I become almost like everybody's advocate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My doctor, his jaw was just dropped. Like, how do you know so much, about the piriformis and, who's giving you, so I was able to push a little bit more with that. But I mean, with this, like, Coach Reed, tell me how, like, with all the get fit quick stuff that's just coming across people's social feeds, how do you maneuver or navigate that when you have everyone else saying, buy my book, to get abs in 30 days. And we all know you can't get abs in 30 days.
I wish, man.
You can purchase them.
Buy a shirt.
Tattoo.
Right. But yeah, well, how do you maneuver that? How do you maneuver that this industry? I mean, you're highly sought after, and you're getting good results. As you saw, I don't know if you saw, someone had said you're great, and you've helped her as well. So how do you maneuver that?
It's oh yeah, I see that. That's actually my homegirl right there.
All right.
Shout out to Jasmine.
Yeah. She's awesome. She's actually she's military too. She's Army.
Awesome. Great service.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little biased towards the Marines, so. But,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
No. But yeah, no, it's no, that's a great question, because it is like, I see it all the time in social media. These get quick fixes of, oh, I can lose 30 pounds in 30 days, or I can get you do the X, Y, and Z, and it's a lot of. The problem is that society it's all about instant gratification, and it's wanting those quick results. I want to lose weight now, when it's taken you, the last 10 years to gain that weight.
Right.
So for me, I try to keep it real, and I really try to keep it educational as well, because it's one of those things where generally the people that come to me are the ones that are kind of like the last resorts. It is like, fine, I'm going to try one more thing. Kind of like how you said, it's like, all right, well, let's just try this one more thing. It can't hurt.
Right.
So, but I tried to put out the educational material out there so that it's relevant, and it's not coming off as, oh, do this diet, do this program. Because even I get a lot of people ask me, why don't you do group sessions? And it's one reason is because I am so strict with form and technique that I can't do that with a group. The only group I've done in the past actually have been with sports teams. That's the only time I do groups, because everybody's on the same page, Mm-hmm. So I used to be an assistant coach for a high school rowing team. And so where everybody's on the same page, I can look at it. But even at that, I had half the team that had injuries, that, of course, the coach was like, well, they still got to row. I'm like, well, but they got to go to physical therapy or something. So I just try to keep my information relevant, and and true, based on facts, because I'm very, very research based, and that's the scientific side of me, where everything I research, make sure is legit, and what I'm presenting is legit.
It's funny when I asked you that, I was like, I think I know that. I think I already know the answer to this, because I went through your program with you, and it was, you kind of gave me things like vision boards and the kitchen makeover, the 1% challenge, the importance of water, and I love the fact that you were like, we're a machine and you have to oil your machine, and then you sent me literature on all the organs in your body and how much the percentage of, how they make, the percentage of water that they make up in your body. So, you explained macros, these are things that, they're just, you can't put a price on that, and especially the way that it has, changed my life. And now here's one thing that I want to know when it comes to, literature. How do you stay on top of, is that a fast changing industry? I know IT is very fast changing, but as research come out, what do you do? Do you have literature that you would recommend to people here listening that could kind of get up to speed on some of these things, at least the basic things that you have showed me?
It's hard because it does change quite a bit. In the fitness industry and even nutrition, it's constantly changing. And the only reason why is because, give you an example. Back in the 80s and 90s, it was, don't like stay away from fats. And then now it's, oh no, fats are good for you. So the research is really all over the place. But when it comes down to it, like every single body is different. And I could do all that. I literally can go down rabbit holes doing research. And so I try to stay up to date on what I can. And generally, if someone asks me a question, then I'll do the research on that, because there's so many different things to look at that, there's just not enough time in the day or the week for me to do all that research, so it's, even like diets, for example, people will ask me about all these different diets. I'm like, oh man, another one? Crap.
It's just a fancy thing.
The time of day. Go ahead.
It is, even like all the different gimmicks that come out, it's like, oh, have you heard of this? I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this now? Why?
Yeah.
But so I get a lot of people that will say, hey, can you look into this product, or what do you think about this? And I'll do my research on it and I'll give my honest opinion. And there's plenty of times where I've said, hey, I don't like this because of X, Y, and Z, or yeah, this would be good, and if it's something that they need to check with their doctor, I'll always do that too, because I'm always making sure that, that they're not just taking something that just for, basically for shits and giggles.
Yeah. So speaking of having a time of day, goodness, you have so many things that you're doing, and aren't you doing? Is it called Her Total Wellness? Can you give us a little background on that for the people here listening?
Sure. So I do, one of the veteran organizations I partner with is Northeast Florida Women Veterans in Jacksonville, Florida. And they have, their signature program is called Her Total Wellness. It's a 6-week program that basically it covers the mind, empowerment, financial, covers a bunch of different topics. And it really gets, helps women out as far as, with a lot of things, getting their VA benefits, getting their finances in check, getting some counseling, even the health and wellness portion, which I do. So it's a really great program. They also have other programs too. And in addition to that, they have what's called Her Space, which is transitional housing for homeless women veterans, which is fantastic. The other programs they have is Her Biz. So teaching women veterans on how to create their own business. And they do at the end of the 6-month program, they actually have formulated their business, registered it. So it's pretty nice.
Wow.
And then they have another program called Her Healthy Life. And it's a program that I facilitate. It's a 6-month health and wellness program. And we go in depth into everything. But I cover 7 pillars, which is we start off with the mind, because if your mind's not on board, it really makes the process difficult, then the journey very difficult. So, getting your mindset in check. We work on the physical fitness, nutrition, stress management, sleep management, recovery techniques, so active and passive recovery techniques, and then also social life. Because the thing is that it doesn't matter if you're an introvert, you gotta have some sort of social life. I mean, it plays a different part of your brain, and it's really important. So we cover all those 7 aspects in the 6 months, and it honestly becomes a life changer for a lot of these women.
You mean tell me social media is not social?
Yeah.
Yeah, social media wants me to go.
It could be detrimental.
I tell you what, like I tell people a lot, I'm like, do a digital detox. Because too many times, we're right here on our phones, our tablets, or in computers. And honestly, I know for me, I am less productive on all when I'm on my phone and on my computer and stuff like that. I am old
Guilty.
school. Give me pen and
Yes.
paper. Even when I read a book, I want a physical book.
Yeah.
It's something about turning that page and like, and the smell of it.
Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah. But, and one of the other organizations that I work with is called Hope for Veterans. And it's another woman veteran organization in actually St. Augustine, Florida. And, but it's great that I can help out these women veterans as far as, just getting their health in check. And then just being there to answer any questions. But honestly, it's one of those where I want to be there, help support our veterans, because too many times, you see a lot of men and women struggle, and it's like how we mentioned earlier, they don't verbalize it. They really internalize it, and it can take them down a really, really dark path.
Definitely, and a lot of them lose that spiral, gets them and grabs them, and they don't have someone to grab them out because they don't know. And sometimes you have to grab them by the throat and give them that little throat punch to get them back into the game. But if you're there to give them the throat punch, it's good. If you're not, then you do lose another veteran, and those numbers just keep going up.
Right.
When I had MisFit Bird on here, we've seen the stat that it's really about 44 a day that we're losing because they're not counting so many other statistics in there. So we're losing a lot for no reason. We need to get those numbers under control.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, even for, I saw it with my husband with his PTSD, and you see him, you just see him spiral. And I think that's actually what really pushed me to work with veterans some more. I mean, even right now, one of his buddies that when they were in the same battalion, he's going through a tough time right now. And what he's going through, I can really relate because a lot of stuff is very similar from what I went through. And even for me not being a veteran, but just being able to reach out to him like every week, a couple times, or even a couple of times during the week, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Try and keep him. And even I talked to him the other day. He said, I asked him, what are you grateful for? He said, you know what? Honestly, I'm grateful for that you reached out, that I'm on the phone with you right now. I'm like, cool. All right, let's talk it through. So it's, just trying to be there, as much as I can, and be a mentor to a lot of people. So it makes a big difference.
Like Ramon said, you got a lot of stuff going on, and you got the 2 veteran groups that you work with, plus your actual business, all your research you do, and then proving you and your husband are wrestling or one of you is right or wrong every day. That's a lot of work to do every day.
That's a lot of work right there. that would take the most work. But
so,
yeah.
Good.
No, but yeah, no, honestly, the busier I am, the happier I am. This is more fun. And plus, when you're doing something that you're really passionate about, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like you love working.
Exactly. It's not really work when you're passionate about it. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
We have another comment from the chat here. It goes back to about our talk about the VA and doctors. Jake Holland, another Army veteran, we're telling you there's no reason for you to be in pain at all. So I mean,
Yeah.
And
well, you know, and that's the thing is I hear that a lot too, actually, where a lot of doctors kind of dismiss people's pains. And I know, Ramon, you kind of went through that too, where it's like, oh, you're in pain, or okay, maybe it's in your head or something.
Mhm.
And I hate hearing that. That's actually a really big pet peeve when I hear that, because how do you know if I'm in pain or not? Like, you don't have my body, right?
Right.
You know, so it's, so I'd really try to listen to people as far as like, tell me what's going on. But yeah, I mean, come on, do we have some crazies out there that do fake it? Sure. But the most of the times it's real. And the fact when doctors say, oh no, you're not in pain, just go ahead, go home, take some Tylenol and you'll be fine. You know, it happens all the time, and not just with veterans, but with, anyone else as well.
Definitely just rub some dirt on it and keep rolling on. That's all you gotta do. And
exactly.
that's what killed a lot of people's thoughts about going to doctors. So having someone like you that's the advocate, like Bird said earlier, being another advocate that's not stomping on the congressional steps or nothing, but stomping onto the veteran space to, hey, I'm here to actually give you help and show you the right way to do things. It's very good for all of us, and we appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh man, welcome. Yeah. If I could go into the VA and revamp it, believe me, I would.
Yeah, you have the manual for sure. Forever grateful to you, for sure. I appreciate you.
No, absolutely.
I can't thank you enough.
You know what? Honestly, seeing how much progress you've made since we started with each other, and now that you're on your own, man, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're killing it. I mean, honestly, because you put in the work too, and that's the other part of it as well, is that you gotta be able to put in the work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's so many pieces to it, but just having a support system. I think that's what we talked about at our last call, Rich, and just having a support system. I've had people who were support systems for me, for my mental health, and then just overall well-being, people for my physical health, like you, but you were touched all of those though, really. So, and then spiritual support, so it's very important to try to communicate with all those different pools of support so that you can be well balanced. I'm telling you, that's what got me across the from one step to the next. I was able to make that next step. Just all it takes is just one step. You just need to take one step, and that's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about how many more steps you got later. And that's all my whole message is on this, is really just your support systems. You just never know when they come in, and then they just allow you to make that next step.
Right. Exactly.
Definitely.
And the other thing is I mean, anyone going to a doctor, and the one thing I would say, if you're not getting the results that you want to get, or if you're, they're just not listening to you, you do have a choice to find someone else. Yes. Because I find a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't want to leave because I'm already here. But if they're not working in your favor and they're not providing value to you, then why would you want to stick there?
Exactly.
Good advice.
So, I mean, there's a lot of doctors out there. I mean, I know even for myself, when I look for doctors to work on me, when I say I go into a rabbit hole of research, I want to see their credentials. I want to see any reviews out there. I want to see what their history is. I mean, okay, it might be borderline like stalking, but I want to make sure that they're going to be the right fit for me. I mean, even when my husband had his last ACL surgery, same thing. I went and I learned about the doctor, and I wanted to make sure that I was like, are you the right surgeon for him? But even I have a woman veteran right now who she's going to be getting surgery at the beginning of next month, and she actually asked me if I would go to her appointments. So I was like, yeah, that's not a problem. She's like, oh, okay, all right, good.
That's outstanding.
That is outstanding.
Because the thing is, like, she was scared. Anybody's gonna be scared for a surgery, but there's also a lot of stuff she didn't know. And so I said, well, yeah, I mean, if you want, I can be there. So yeah, I'm gonna be there, help her out, make sure that she's at ease, and explain things, to her, make sure that she understands it.
Yeah.
So
it's no better feeling to have an advocate for you that is attention to detail. To see that you stalked these individuals like that. I mean, we know you're paying attention to detail, so come on.
I might be a little detail oriented. But yeah, too many times I find a lot of people don't do their research, and but I want to make sure I'm not going to a quack doctor. Even with people who work with me, I was like, if you do your research on me, awesome, great, fantastic, because I've already done my research on you.
Heard you got the blueprint.
Right.
Pretty much. But even, I mean, it's like if you go into a meeting, you don't want to go into a meeting with no agenda,
Right, yeah.
So anytime I go into meetings, I make sure that I'm like, all right, cool, this is what we got, let's go.
Yeah.
And stick to the agenda. Don't fly off and wind up 3 hours in the agenda. Yes.
That's so annoying.
Right. Yes.
So annoying.
So we went through a lot of things fast here, but time, and a lot of people have busy lives and such. If you can give someone that's going through that pain spiral, like 3 bits of advice, how to get themselves out of it, what would that be? 1,
don't give up. I mean, the thing is that pain, whether if it's acute or chronic, there are ways to get over it or to overcome it, but it's finding the right person to help you out. If you can, try to find someone that's not going to just alleviate the symptoms, but actually find and work with the root cause of the problem. Secondly, you have to put in the work as well. Because if you're sedentary, and obviously sometimes when you're in a lot of pain, you do become sedentary, but our bodies are made to move. So being able to move, again, is trying to find, if you have to find the motivation in someone to try to help you out, do so. But a lot of times it is hard to do it by ourselves. So trying to find someone to do it. But the other thing is that motivation doesn't come from someone or something. Motivation comes from action. So the more you do in action, the more you get motivated. So just being able to get yourself to make that first step and then make the first move. And then if you can, try not to be dependent on the medications, because too many times, whether you're become dependent on Tylenol, ibuprofen, or even any of the opioids, the thing is our body doesn't want that. Our organs can't handle that. Right. I've seen a lot of veterans who, as my husband, or at least the Marine Corps called it, vitamin M. But then as they gotten out of the military, vitamin M was not your friend anymore. Because it kind of destroyed the liver. It destroyed the other organs as well. So if you can, try to get off the medication and actually put in the work to work through the pain.
Definitely the vitamin M, 800 milligrams of love, a giant bottle.
Actually, shoot, I remember him giving me the Ziploc bag. I'm like,
yep.
What is that? Oh my gosh.
That's the best way to prescribe something. So you get a Ziploc bag with a number on it, 38, whatever. It's good.
Yeah. I know a lot of doctors are like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a real thing.
Yep. That's why you see a lot of liver issues.
Yes. And other issues due to it, the ancillary issues due to the liver failing or having issues. So,
yep.
So how does someone get in contact with you, Pinky? I know you're on veteran chat boards and stuff, but is there other ways they can get in contact with you to either consult you for service, go stalk you for services, or just chat with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'll pass all my info on to you, Rich. But yeah, you can call me, email me. As far as reach me through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. So I'm on all the social platforms. But I'll pass all that information on to you, and you can put it on to your viewers.
Awesome. Thank you again for being on, and I look forward to having more chats like this with both of you in the future.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It was great. RJ, I always love seeing you again.
Yeah,
And
Coach P.
Rich, it's finally good to meet you because I know Ramon has like talked very highly of you.
Awesome,
Yeah.
and it's great to meet you. He's talked highly of you two on the phone with me, and then he finally said, "You know what? You need to have her on the show." So, all right, let's
Yeah.
do this.
We need
Yeah.
another 40 minutes if we're gonna go into that. Let's just
Yeah, we only got to go an hour and a half next time.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you so much, Pinky. It's been great. It's an honor to co-host with you, Rich. And until next time,
Misfits.
MisFit.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. It's themisfitnation.com to catch up on all of our episodes and also to get some of that great Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are